Hello, good evening, SM viewers. This is Satellite Media. If you are new to the channel, kindly like, share, subscribe, and please do not forget to hit the notification bell. Let's look at the matters arising sequel to the Edo incident, talking about the killing of the 16 persons from the northern Nigeria. And we are seeing reaction here. This one is from Daily Post, coming from Northern Elders Forum, giving Edo State and federal government ultimatum. And he's saying Edo mob killing. Northern Elders make 3 demands, issue ultimatum. He went further to say that the Northern Elders Forum NEF has made 3 key demands from the Edo State and federal governments regarding the killing of northern travelers in Uromi, Edo. This comes as the forum warned that the region will no longer tolerate such reckless from the people of southern Nigeria. The spokesperson of the Northern Elders Forum, Professor Abubakar Jidere, displayed this in a statement to Daily Post at the weekend. The forum demanded that the arrest and trial of those responsible for the killing of the 16 northern travelers in Uromi must be conducted publicly to ensure transparency and accountability. Additionally, Northern Elders Forum called for an unreserved public apology from Uromi and the Edo State authorities, along with commitment to ensuring that such barbaric acts never occur again. Lastly, this forum stated that compensation should be duly paid to the families of the victims in line with prescribed standards. Looking at what is coming from Northern Elders Forum, we understand that this is not the first time we are seeing killing, whether in the south or in the north. We have seen the killing of Deborah, which happened in Sokoto State. And let me quickly say that in as much as I condemn the killing of those northern youths, let me say that the Northern Elders Forum never saw it as a necessity to demand for the prosecution of those that killed Deborah. Not just Deborah, we had the killing of the young lady in Abuja, talking about the Redeemed Christian Church of God member who was preaching about the gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ, who was murdered in Abuja. Let me quickly say that even the Northern Elders Forum at the time did not lose their voice. They did not in any way call for the arrest and prosecution of those who perpetrated it. You may say the lady in question that it was perhaps done within where nobody knew who actually did it, but that notwithstanding, the police had the responsibility to investigate and arrest whoever may be connected or suspected to be connected to such act. But even at that, the one that happened in Sokoto State, talking about the Deborah, it happened in broad daylight. They were filming it. It's on record. It was all over the internet, and the authorities, including Northern Elders Forum, never saw any need to ask the authorities to investigate and prosecute those who did it. In as much as I'm of the view that those who took the life of those northern youths should be arrested and prosecuted, but I will not toe the line of the Northern Elders Forum, who is now one-sided, who, when it happens to Christian in the south, they will keep mum, they will not react, and they will only react when it happens to their Muslim brothers, because life is sacrosanct as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't matter who it happens to. It is abnormal to shed blood, and when it happens, I think it's condemnable, whether in the north, whether in the south, whether a Christian, whether a Muslim. It's condemnable when you see barbaric killing of human being, gruesome murder of human being. Because one thing is certain, that we don't have the power to create life, and as such, we should not take it when, or rather where it's avoidable. But let me quickly say that the government need to address some fundamentals, and those fundamentals are simple. We have a situation where the major reason you saw the people doing that is because of the excesses of Fulani military. And I want to say that if the authorities did not nip it in the bud, we are likely going to see a repeat of this in any other part of the country. Because as we speak, the essence of Fulani military is very serious in almost every strata of the society. The other time we saw the killing in Benue, we saw the one in Ebonyi State, we saw the one in Delta. It constantly, severally happens in Southern Kaduna, in Plateau, in Taraba, in Nasarawa. It cut across every strata of the society. We're equally seeing what is happening in Zamfara State, where Toji Bello is reigning supreme, who is, of course, a non-state actor. The other time, we saw how he celebrated burning down a military vehicle, though the military currently say they are closing on him, but it's not yet on record that he has been arrested or he is facing prosecution for all the alleged crime he have committed. But let me quickly say at this point that we need to think out of the box as a people. The government need to rejig the security architecture. The government need to allow the state governors to parade some level of security power, because the governor cannot just go by the name of the governor and the chief security officer of the state without parading any single power in terms of security to protect lives and property. And when it happens, the people will quick blame the governor for not being able to address it, not minding that he do not command the commissioner of police in his state, even the director of DSS in his state, he doesn't command them. But at this point, I think there's every need to rejig our security architecture to give the governors some responsibility to play in terms of parading some level of security power. And again, we are seeing some states, particularly southwestern states, coming up with Amatekun. Of course, this is a creation of the State House of Assembly, the Act of State House of Assembly in the southwestern part of the country. But I think what is perhaps lacking is the ability of Amatekun to bear arm to the point of having the capacity to combat crime and criminality. And I think this is where synergy will come in, particularly between the governors or state governments and the Office of the National Security Advisor, who of course will understand, have the power, constitutional power to give an end user certificate to anyone who is procuring arm of that magnitude to combat crime. Because for you to buy or rather procure arms to fight insecurity, you need an end user certificate that normally comes from the Office of the National Security Advisor. So in this regard, I think the state governors or the state governments should synergize with federal government through the Office of the National Security Advisor so that crime can be dealt with. And another issue is that the federal government must build capacity through the police, through the armed forces, whether the military, the Navy, Air Force, police, DSS. Holistically, there's every need to build capacity. Because there is, as a country, you must possess monopoly of coercive power. Of course, you must exert your sovereignty within all the territorial integrity of the country. A situation where you have non-state actors that we have currently, the likes of Toji Bello, the likes of Boko Haram, the likes of ISWAP, killer henchmen, that is the Fulani military, wreaking havoc here and there, and the government, or rather the citizens, seem to be living at the mercy of the kidnappers or the terrorists or bandits, whatever nomenclature one may choose to use. I think it is not encouraging. Because as a government, the government has the responsibility to protect lives and property. And the government must understand that when, or rather where there is breach, they should own up and take responsibility. Because as it stands, the issue of Fulani headers have been with us. But again, I think the government should think out of the box as a way of compelling, or rather coming up with policies to compel anyone who owns cow to ranch his or her cow. Because that is the world best practice. You cannot allow your cow to graze everywhere, to roam on the street and destroy crops of people's crop and all that. There's a trendy video where you can clearly see some cows grazing on people's farmland, cassava plantation, even a corn plantation. So, and nobody, after investing much to do his farming, will watch his crop being destroyed. Though I understand that stakeholders have since acknowledged that the problem between herders and host communities or farmers is an age-long one. But whether it's an age-long one, I think at the point it needs to be addressed. And the best way to address it is to go about ranching. And if you are going about ranching, I think the Fulani themselves or whoever is owning cow should understand that this is your personal business. That is not the business of government. A situation in the past where the government of Muhammadu Buhari tried to muzzle all the states, even the fund of federal government to use our commonwealth to build ranches for Fulani herdsmen. I think that is not encouraging, because just like any other tribe, people have business that is peculiar with their own ethnicity or tribe. And everybody, if you want to perhaps do your business, if you don't have fund, you should go to bank and raise credit facility to do it. I understand that actually ranching is capital intensive, but again, I think if the Fulani herdsmen or those who own cow should come under cooperative, seek funding from banks, credit facilities from banks, I think banks can bankroll such adventure, and over time, the bank will recoup their money. But to say that federal government should be the one to bankroll it, it implies that, of course, that is double standard. Because I have not seen federal government coming out clearly to say any other tribe in this country, whatever business they are doing, that the government will be the one to give the subvention or to bring out money to enable them move on with the business. So the way it is, I think the government should go back to the drawing board, because life is sacrosanct, so that we don't see a repeat of this. Because if the fundamentals are not addressed, one thing is certain, that we are likely going to see a repeat of this. This time around is in Uromi in Edo State. Next time, nobody can imagine where it may come from. But the only way you can avert this is to address those fundamentals. And those fundamentals are: one, the confidence that people have lost in the ability of the police to protect lives and property, or in the ability of the police and the authorities to do the right thing when corporates, suspects, are handed over to them. I understand that in Nigerian legal jurisprudence, one is innocent until proven otherwise by a court of competent jurisdiction. That is where what happened is condemnable by us standard, because even if you say someone is even a Fulani herdsman and the person is arrested alive, not that the person was exchanging firearm with you as at the time of arrest, I think it behoves on the person to hand over to the police, who of course will investigate and prosecute. But the situation where one takes laws into his hand, no matter how you look at it, is condemnable. That is on one hand. Then secondly, the area of the government possessing monopoly of coercive power to be able to deal with this emerging threat is another big issue. The government should be able to do that, and ultimately should be able to possess the power to challenge and crush bandits, terrorists who hibernate in the bushes, in the forest, wherever they come from. I understand that the former president of Nigeria, talking about Muhammadu Buhari, made it very clear that these Fulani herdsmen are foreign Fulani herdsmen who come all the way from Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, into Nigeria, perhaps because of our porous borders, and come here to wreak havoc. It is irrespective of whether we have porous borders, it is irrespective of whether they come from different parts of the world. The government have a responsibility to protect our property, and that they must do. Let me say very big thank you for your time. Until I come your way, this is Satellite Media. Until I come your way next time, this is Satellite Media, and I'm Mr. Martin. Thank you very much.